Hey, YouTube. Well, did y'all know that Tales of the City was back? I just ran into that last night on Netflix. Tales of the City. One of the first gay-inspired series. They weren't. It was never a totally gay show, but it certainly had many gay characters. And at the time that it came out, back in the 80s, it was one of the very few shows like that. In fact, I think it had more than any other show. Anyway, so Tales of the City is written by Armistead Maupin. This thing has been done, and they put it on stage. They've written, I think he wrote a total of 8 or 9 novels on this series. So Armistead Maupin, he started writing these little stories for San Francisco paper. I believe it was the Chronicle. And eventually these series that he was writing became novels, and then it became a television series way back in the 80s. Then it became a stage play recently in the last few years, and now it's returned as a series. So they didn't duplicate the original story. This takes place in current times. The character Anna Madrigal is now 90 years old, so we open up with her birthday party. She's 90. I think the lady's name is Olivia Dukakis. Then Marianne Singleton, who has aged extremely well. She looks like the same Marianne. I mean, she looks like she might have aged maybe 10 years, but this is 40 years ago. So she looks remarkable. The woman who plays Marianne Singleton. So now she's come for Anna's birthday. Michael Tolliver, which was another main character, he is now a 45, 50-ish man. She's come just for that. She came with her husband. Her husband is got a kind of a snob. He didn't understand the San Francisco lifestyle, which is the lifestyle she once loved. She had people who she considered family there. She was happy to be back in the city. He was not understanding, and he called them freaks. So they end up getting divorced. On the way back to the airport after this visit, she gets out of the car, and she gets out of the car almost directly in front of my house. I live right by Safeway. This Safeway is like that, pretty much dab in the middle of the Castro. Well, I live right next door to there. So I was excited about this show because a lot of the scenes they were showing were right here in my own neighborhood. Anyway, she gets out practically right in front of my window. And he notifies her later that he wants a divorce. So he sends her divorce papers. They kind of rushed that. It happened very quickly. But I think their marriage was already on the rocks. Marianne had left, I think 25 years earlier to go to New York to have a career, which she became successful in her career. But she's left a little bit of wreckage as far as the daughter and so forth. I'm not going to go through every detail of this story. I didn't write it down kind of thing. I wasn't planning on reviewing it. But I think it's a series worth watching. I think only the first season is up right now on Netflix. I think I only saw 8 episodes. Anyway, so she's back in the city now. So far, she's just roaming around the town. This all takes place in just a couple, 2 or 3 days, right? So they've added a lot of color. They've gotten a lot more realistic with minorities in this new series. Like, for instance, Michael Tolliver's lover is a young, very attractive black guy, black or biracial guy. Many of the other characters now, the side characters, they are young people, but a lot of them are, at least 3 of them are Asian. You've got a black girl, black people. They've got all kind of races involved in this, which is much more realistic about San Francisco. That's the thing. If you watch something about Washington, D.C., you would think that everybody was white because this is all we ever see is the government buildings and white people, right? But actually the city is the majority black. Well, it's kind of that way in San Francisco. Asian people represent 33 0.3% of the population in San Francisco. By comparison, black people represents 6%. So there's a lot of Asian people here, right? So I was very happy to see them reflecting the city in what it really is like now. So there's various kinds of characters. One is transgender. One is they're lesbian people, of course. They're straight people, of course. A lot of this centers around Mary Ann Singleton, who is a straight woman. She seems to be going to reunite with her ex-husband. They have a child together, Shauna, who doesn't know that Mary Ann is not really her biological mother, but is under the impression that her mother left her as a child to go and pursue a career in New York City. But Mary Ann was never her biological mother anyway. So anyway, the controversy is nobody wants her to tell the truth because this woman, nothing like the truth, honey. So we all know that the truth's going to come out eventually. All right, so maybe they're going to get together. Right now, they hate each other. You know how they do in drama. They always have the people who are going to be involved in a relationship always resisting at first. They're kind of going through that. Now they went on a date and walked out on each other kind of thing. Okay. So Anna Madrigal has got some strange man who's from a reading society coming to visit her. She's 90 years old now. So this society, they have readers that come around and read to the elderly people. And so when she's asleep, he goes snooping around. And she's been getting threatening emails. She's been getting cards saying that people know that she's lying and that she has to sign over her property, Barbie Lane. So we're just starting with that. I watched 2.5 episodes last night. Something like that. I'm going to go back to it in a few minutes here. All right, so that's the Madrigal story. Michael Tolliver, who is HIV positive. He is positive for many, 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 many moons. He's got this beautiful boyfriend. They're discussing their little drama is they want to have raw, unprotected sex. Don't ask me. That's what they want to do. One is on PrEP. The other one is undetectable. And they want to have raw sex with each other. So they're at the clinic now, and the doctor is advising him that you could do that if you wanted to do that. It's your choice. But Michael is struggling with that. Does he want to take that leap to actually have that? To me, it makes no sense. Keep on wearing the rubbers. Anyway, that's my opinion. Okay. Who else is in there? Well, I wasn't going to try to do the whole thing, but one couple is a Latin man who used to be a woman. It's a trans man. She's now a guy, but he hasn't had experience as a guy. So he's discovering, and his girlfriend is an Asian woman who was a lesbian. They were lesbian lovers at one time, right? So now he's becoming a man, and he's finding that he's attracted to men. She is still a lesbian, but she kind of just supports him in his transition. And it looks like they're about to split because they can't come to understanding. He wants to experiment with men, and she is not into having a open relationship. She was fine until he wanted to open the relationship up, right? So we don't know if they're going to break up or not. There's the other couples. Okay, so the last person I'll cover is the girl, Shauna, who is 25 but dresses like an 18-year-old. A lot of this centers around her. Mary Ann and the father, his name slips my mind. They were raising her, but she was actually another woman's daughter who died, right? I believe it's the girl who was a drug addict. Anyway, the mother died, so the girl never knew her real biological parents. She's always known this guy to be her father, and she's always thought that Mary Ann was her actual biological mother who had left her to pursue a career in television in New York City, right? So it's fun. It's fun. I'm looking forward to seeing this. I want to encourage you guys to check out Tales of the City. It doesn't matter if you're straight or gay. Everybody's covered. All the characters are covered. and know they're not trying to just copy what happened in the original series. They're picking it up from right now. Now, Miss Madrigal, I read the books, so I'm already aware of in the last book, Miss Madrigal did not live at Barbary Lane. In the last book, she had moved to Beau's Triangle, my neighborhood, and they changed that. They put her back at Barbary Lane. Now someone's trying to take her property from her, but she's still the landlord there. She still smokes a lot of weed. We'll leave it at that. Check out Tales of the City on Netflix. Later, people.